Well, hello everybody. Welcome into the first ever live Cake Eaters podcast. Uh coming at you hours after the Avalanche have defeated the Philadelphia Flyers 3-2 to get their first back-to-back wins in quite some time. When was the last time the Avs had back-to-back wins? I think it was before the road trip. Think I'm looking up really quick. Okay, it was when they beat Washington and then Dallas. So that was November 19th and 21st. It's currently December 13th. So yeah, that's interesting. Oh, shoot, I didn't put the thumbnail on this. Hold on. I'm streaming it through stop it. YouTube. I'm streaming it through Streamlabs. So, okay, guy. Oh my God, YouTube. YouTube's being a pain in my ass. I'm not trying to do that. Please stop it. Sorry everybody. This is I've never streamed on YouTube before. I just figure I should let that be known. So this is a bit of a new experience for me. Let me just go into this really quick. I'll just I put the time making my thumbnail, so I'm gonna put it in there really quick, just so you guys. So there we go. All right. And I'm just gonna share this really quick. So let's get into this game while I'm sharing this. I made it very vocal on Twitter. I wasn't a huge fan of how the Avs started this game. This is a bit awkward when I don't have like a starting screen. I'll have to work on that tomorrow. I have time. I thought the Avs were a bit too passive. We've seen this in years before, where sometimes I feel like I don't know. It feels weird. I don't like the way they play. Feels like they're respecting them too much. Like they're giving them like too much space. But there's also like they're not trying to force the issue in as much so it kind of feels out of fear. But I think it's more of a place of they don't respect them, because like you saw that they weren't really pushing the middle of the ice a lot. They were very content to take shots from the outside, and I think the bigger problem in the first period was that they weren't shooting at enough. And I thought that wasn't, a great strategy. And obviously, it didn't pan out because they scored no goals, and the Flyers scored one goal. I'll talk about the Flyers goal right now. I was very confused what was happening, because so they had a shot. Apparently, the thing took about 50 different deflections, is what people were saying. So the Avs got a little bit unlucky there. And then there was some contact with Francouz. I don't remember. I don't know if it was actually York who caused said impact or contact, whatever. But the ref immediately frantically was like, no, no, no. And then they talked about it for like 3 seconds. And they were like, never mind, it was outside the crease. And I'm like, you're not even going to like review it first? It was just very weird, because I didn't know what they were complaining about. I thought it might have been goaltender interference. I couldn't exactly tell how York put the puck in, because by the way, I was in arena. So I thought maybe he kicked it. And because that's usually you don't see them wave off goaltender interference that much. In the moment, usually they review it, go through it, and then they're like, okay, not goaltender interference. But it was. So yeah, just not. I wasn't a fan of that period, because I could see it coming. The Avs were possessing the puck so much, but they weren't. They're trying to find the nice little play, and they were trying to pass the puck into the back of the net. And when they were shooting, it was getting blocked. It wasn't hitting the net. Like you look at the Corsi for the first period, I mean, it was 16, but that didn't it literally was halfway through the period. It was like dead even for teams. And then pretty much after the Avs' first power play, it climbed up, then Philly scored their goal, and then it kept climbing and then just climbing and climbing. Then it kind of sunk back down at the end of the game. So I thought the Avs were a bit too complacent offensively in the first period, and it obviously got them a deficit. I think, Frankie needs to play that puck a little bit better, but he also gets a little bit unlucky. I'm still not entirely sure what happened on that goal. My big thing from the first period is the offense. I thought they had 2 power plays, and they were not very dangerous at all. They literally had a play where Lehkonen had the puck in the slot, and then he passed it away. And I'm like, shoot the puck. Like, I understand you're not like Andre Burakovsky or Mikko Rantanen or even Cale Makar, even Nathan McKinnon. But, you still have a nice shot. Shoot the puck, please, when you're in a prime scoring place like that. But he didn't. They were up down 1-0. I don't like it when they do that because, I mean, it's just asking for things to go wrong. My biggest problem with it was the fact that the first shot of the game hits Sandstrom in the chest. It should be an easy save, and he bobbles it and loses it. And I'm like, you just got to throw pucks on this goalie. He's won 1 game the entire year. His goals against average is 4. It's really bad. And I'm like, you just have to test this goaltender more. He just needs you're a team that's struggling to score goals. Don't be picky. Just throw stuff on net and try and clean up rebounds. Maybe something just goes in naturally. I felt like it garnered some problems for them later, because I think they let him get a bit too comfortable, get a bit more confidence than I think he probably should have. But whatever. Really quick, I did forget this. I'm real blurry. I don't know why. Cake of the game. I got the carrot cake because it's orange and the Flyers are orange. So, Blake isn't here to talk shit about it. So here we go. Bottoms up. That's pretty good. That is carrot cake. So, yeah. Just figured I should touch on that. I really need a new chair. This is really annoying. I play games with my friends, and it's just squeaking in the voice chat. Super annoying. All right. So the Avs found themselves down 1-0. Second period, so much better. I was a real big fan of this second period. The last few minutes, I'll get to that. I had some issues with that, but the rest of it, more than fine. I'm going to wear my hat like a douche. Sorry, everybody. I'm not a big hat guy, so I only wear them to games. Jesus Christ, chair, shut up. Is there anything else I could sit on in this room? Should I just sit on my bed? This is brutal. I'll just try not to move very much. But I thought, they continued to dominate possession-wise, but it felt like they were shooting the puck more. There was a bit more urgency offensively. Stephen Land, hey man, subbed a bit ago and wanted to say great job with the channel and awesome job with the live stream. Happy to join in. Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate that, Stephen or Stefan. I'm not entirely sure. I appreciate the subscription, and I appreciate you hopping in late on this Tuesday night to talk about this hockey game, or to hear me talk about this hockey game. So yeah, I'll continue. By the way, any audio listeners, I'm going to try, especially in these early stages of the live streaming, I'm going to really try and engage with the chat here. Just be warned. If you'd like to see the messages or anything, make sure you hop into a later live stream or watch it on YouTube. Anyways, great possession metrics from the Avs to start the first. Great possession, just period. To start the second, rather. Sorry. And I thought they did a good job. They were shooting the puck. Andrew Cogliano wasn't just missing the net and hitting guys in the chest. Steven, all right, great. Just want to make sure I get that right. I was watching a video earlier where there was a guy who had the name spelled the exact same way, and it was Stefan. So, yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate the kind words. I'm also glad the chat is working. It's always something that gets a little bit worrisome. You never know with some of the streaming software, but yeah. Anyways, they did a good job. They were shooting the puck. They were putting quality chances on net. It wasn't quite going for them a little bit. I still thought they were a bit too passive. Like I did notice that I was like, okay, they're shooting the puck more, but it's all from the top of the zone. It was mostly coming from Makar and Girard. By the way, Girard, I thought he looked pretty good tonight. He's been really kind of feeling himself a little bit lately. He's been pulling off those spins. He's been reminding everybody he can spin. Like, you don't care. He gonna spin. He made a few questionable passes at the top of the zone. I'll get into Girard later because he's definitely something I want to talk about this game. So, all right, and then we go. They continued. They were, getting. It felt like it was ramping up. Like they were getting more danger, more possession. They were shooting the puck more, getting pucks through a little bit more. And then JT Compher makes this beautiful pass to Devon Taves. It was a great play. Like I was literally looking at it and I was like, I mean, because from my seat, it felt very like a linear rush. I was like, oh, well, spread out, guys. And then Devon Taves just kind of finds a burst of speed, beats his guy. And then Compher recognized that and flips a nice backhand pass. And right as Devon is cutting in front of the net, and he just slides it under Sandstrom's 5-hole. A beautiful play by Compher and a beautiful finish. I don't if you're a Flyers fan, you probably want tighter coverage on Devon Taves, but it's one of those ones where it's just a nice play. So you credit to the Avs. That was a great play. JT Compher gets his first point of the night in a very beautiful fashion, which was good. I was tweeting about it before, and this is something that I'm going to continue to beat. This is nothing against JT Compher as a player, as a person, anything. His style of play and his just the way he plays and what he's good at doesn't garner himself to be the drop man on the power play. It's just not his thing. He doesn't have the hands. He doesn't have the thank you for this is the first time I got to wear this to a game, so I was very happy. And he scored, so double good. I just he doesn't quite have the speed or the hands. And I mean, maybe he could have the hands. One thing that my biggest problem that I've had with him is that he keeps doing the same thing over and over again. He keeps going to the outside and then just dumping it off to a guy who has no speed at the blue line, and it completely defeats the entire purpose of the break-in. You have to do that. He doesn't have the speed. Nathan MacKinnon does that because when he's speeding by, people have to respect him and they back off more. So he's giving that to a guy who has space, who isn't being closed off because everybody's been pushed back by him. He usually drops it back a little bit more. The problem is with Compher, he pushes it ahead and then he goes off sides or the guy just steps up on him. And what we saw at the end of the second period was he kind of handcuffed Mikko and Mikko had to take a penalty because of it. So I just don't like Compher in that role. I still think Cale would be better. I think he can succeed in that. I think Cale Makar is a talented enough player that he can do that, then get to his spot on the point. And even then, I feel like there's plenty of dudes who can cover for Cale in his spot at the point. So I just don't think that this is the strategy. Me personally, I might I don't know if I would, because I actually think Compher is probably I don't know. I like Newhook on Power Play 1. I like to give him that opportunity, but I also don't. I also think Compher's earned the opportunity on Power Play 1. He just isn't the guy who should be doing the drop passes. So I don't know. I would personally like to see that change. They did flip it to something else today where it was Compher would pick it up, then Nichushkin would swing with him, and it felt like Compher would give him that pass. I did like that. I think that worked a little bit. I just think you're passing the puck a little bit too much, and things are just getting so clogged because there's so many bodies right there at that blue line. You're just asking for some problems. And I think that's been the bigger problem with Yav's power play lately is that once they get it in the zone, out of the zone, they just have a problem getting it back in the zone. The break-ins are a problem. The zone entries need some work, and that's part of the part of the problem that happens when Nathan MacKinnon's gone. But the thing is also that I've seen worse power play units be more effective. I don't know. Maybe they've just relied on MacKinnon too much. This group of guys, maybe there's some growing pains. I'm not entirely sure. There's just some things I think that need to be worked out because with this shortened roster, you need your power play to score you some goals if you're going to win some games, because that's when your talented players are on the ice. And this is I think it was, I don't know if it was 14 after the second power play or after the first. So this is either a 15 or 16 game power play goalless streak. Now, on the third one, it's technically cut short by the Mikko penalty, but that's whatever. That was the one where I really had the problem with Compher because he just dumps it off to Mikko. Really, and Mikko is just not in a good. The problem with Compher is that he just isn't a creative player, I wouldn't say. So when he's doing that, he's just going to do the same thing every time. It's just chalk, chalk, chalk. And so it's just easy for teams to read. And you can tell as games progress, like the Blues did it last game. They really start to read that, and then they just cut it off. And Compher is just like, well, I'm just going to do it anyways. And then it's just doesn't go well. So they need to fix that because Nate isn't coming back particularly soon. So that needs to be something that is fixed because this team needs to start scoring some power play goals because they are going to play some better teams. The Sabres kick the crap out of the Kings tonight, 6-0. So they're going to need all the goals they can against them. The Predators are starting to find their footing. They play Vegas, Toronto down the line. They play a few more teams that are pretty good. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, the power play can't continue to be this blah. So anyways, I'll stop with the power play. Because who needs power plays when you have Arturri Lehkonen just scoring shorthanded goals? This goal was weird because it was like you look at the plays that led up to it, and you're like, those are some really nice plays. But then you realize Erik Johnson did not mean to do that at all. He was just like, dump the puck out. He was just PK brain, get the puck out. No fault to Erik Johnson. He made a great play. He saw the Flyers guy coming in, and he realized, I can just squish this dude on the boards, steps up, makes a nice hit, breaks the puck loose, and then chips it out. And fortunately, it goes into space, and it's not too hard that Sandstrom can make a play on it, and it's not too soft that the Flyers defenseman can just take it, bring it back, and regroup. Instead, Lehkonen beats York to it. York has to kind of sell out. I think he was just caught flat-footed. It's not something John Tortorella is going to be a fan of. I'm going to tell you that much. And then he makes a nice finish on the breakaway. I know some people were like, I think there's this stigma with goalies where it's like, well, if you're on if you get beat 5-hole, it's a bad goal. And it's like, but it's not always that case. It's just a nice shot. You might want Sandstrom to make that to make that save. Great play by AJ, completely accidental, but it's still a good play. What happens when you make good plays, good things come of it. And Arturri Lehkonen make sure he got it with his first point of the game. And then the rest of the second period, the Avs kill off the remainder of that power play pretty well, pretty light work. Things started to get a little bit more tilted towards Philadelphia. This is something that was the problem with the St. Louis game. It felt like once they kind of get that lead, they really like with this lineup, they really want to park the bus early. And I'm like, y'all need to chill. I'll get into this when I talk about the third period, but it felt like that started. I thought it was a weird hooking penalty. It felt like a bit like maybe a soft even up call, perhaps, on Kale McCarr. But after that power play, Philly had some nice shifts where they were really getting it going and cycling the puck in Colorado's zone. And then, Travis Konechny, good call, bad call, doesn't really matter. He goes to an area where you're either going to get a good chance on, or you're probably going to draw a penalty, and that's what happened. So yeah, but really quick, while we're taking a break, Steven Lands is, I'll just say Steven. I don't need to say the full name. If it is okay to ask, how many jerseys do you own? Should sometime do a tour of your Avs collection. Your room setup looks awesome. Thank you. This took a lot of effort. So I'm in college. My other dorm, my dorm, also very Avs'd up. This took a lot of effort. You guys don't even get to see my favorite part, which is my pom-pom wall. But yeah, I got all that stuff back there. I think I'm in like the 20. I have lots of jerseys in general. I would probably hazard a guess that I have probably 100 jerseys across multiple sports. But Avs jerseys, I have about 20-ish. Blake, who is not here right now, has a few, has a decent handful himself. Yeah, I will. I've wanted to do a jersey tour for a while. I will after the holidays because I was hoping to get some jerseys, and we'll see what happens then. Yeah, it's quite a few jerseys. It's my pride. Right now I don't have a lot to wear because I got I got two Macs, I got two Landys, I got two Byrams, and I got a Manson, and then so yeah, it's a bit shortchanged. Eric Milligan says, "Proud of you, homie. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it." All right, so now we're gonna get back to the game really quick. Me and my squeaky ass chair. So Avs start the third period on the kill. It was a pretty good kill. They won the faceoff, iced the puck a few times. Oh, right. At the end of the second period, Devon Toews almost took a delay of game penalty. I think he hit like barely like the top of the glass. I was mad at him because I was like, why did you do that? Because he had a lot of open ice, not towards glass. But it worked out. The bigger problem was actually, he almost took a delay game penalty, but he also, it was also, there was enough time that if the Flyers had won the faceoff, which they didn't, there was an offensive zone faceoff, so they could have had a nice chance off of that because he was still in the defensive zone. But obviously, nothing came of that. Just something I wanted to mention. Devon Toews almost took a second delay of game penalty in a row. By the way, delay of game penalties are stupid. So just by the way, since Blake isn't here, yeah. So, my phone's feeling real hot. But yeah, so this third period was very similar to the Blues. I wasn't happy with it. It was better than the Blues, I definitely thought. I don't think they gave up as much dangerous chances as they did against the Blues. And obviously, they didn't take they took the one penalty, so that made life a little bit easier on them. But it was definitely, I felt like things got sloppy a little bit. They were, I think they were trying to park the bus and turtle a little bit too early. They were too eager to do that. Like they were dumping pucks when they didn't need to. They were, just I don't know. And I mean, it wasn't just that. They were just making some sloppy passes and sloppy plays that I was just like, you're just not, just calm down, control the puck, get some shots off, and there you go. That's not what they did. But then they did, because a few minutes in, about halfway through, they got some possession back. I mean, they weren't like getting dear God, they weren't getting hemmed in. They weren't like hanging on by a thread. I just think, they could have and should have done better. And I think that's a problem with this lineup. With this lineup, there's no look, scoring goals is going to be a problem. And I feel like, you know what? That's fine. You have excuses, these guys they're just not good enough. That's just how it is. But this lineup is definitely good enough to hold leads in a less stressful way than they have in the past 2 games. Hopefully that comes with time, we'll see. I think, like I said, I think they could do better. But it's not, it's not very bad. It's not like awful. It's not like they're just going into the third period and they're just getting massively outshot. I mean, they got outshot 6-12, which isn't good. I mean, the Flyers did pull their goalie with like 4 minutes left. So how much of that is a little, like, there are some score effects going on, but I feel like, when you're only up by 1, maybe the score effects can, take a break for just a little bit. But yeah. So it's just something I would like to see done a little bit better. Just execute a little bit better. You're still a good defensive team. You still have the capabilities to do it, especially against a team like the Flyers. They're not extremely potent offensively. It would be nice to see a bit better, but what makes it easier is when Arturri Lehkonen makes a sweet pass to JT Compher, who makes a sweet shot to give you an insurance goal. That makes things a lot easier. So, I mean, this goal was so nice. I completely just didn't pick up who got the first assist on it. Let me just, I mean, the first assist was Lehkonen, obviously. I meant the second assist. No, okay, it was just Lehkonen. All right. So Lehkonen wins a puck battle in the zone, and he makes this nice pass. Bednar started really jumbling the lines up in the third period, trying to hold the lead. So Lehkonen was playing with, I think it was Compher and Logan O'Connor on that shift. He makes a really nice play, wins a puck battle, and knows Compher is cutting to the middle, and he gives him a nice backhand pass right on the stick, and Compher just picks his spot and just absolutely snipes it post and in, past Sandstrom's glove. By the way, I didn't mention this. When they were talking about the goalies before the game, they were talking about Sandstrom. They did play Sandstorm by Darude, which was pretty funny. There was a lot of inside jokes in this Discord that I'm in that, about him, it's his first name Darude. Someone actually said that to me on Twitter. A lot of Sandstorm jokes. But yeah, so that made things a little bit better in the third. Then they really, like, this was at the point where I'm like, okay, this is fine. You're parking the bus. I think they could have executed a little bit better, that they weren't getting pucks out effectively. But then the Flyers started to pick up momentum. They pulled their goalie, Patty Wall style, with 4 minutes left in the goddamn game, and scored pretty fast, which is not what you want to see. You want to see them at least waste a little bit more time. If you're going to give up that empty net goal, you want to at least push it off a little bit, because then the Avs had to like swim and survive for like 2 minutes and 30 seconds, which I'll get to after the goal. I mean, I don't really like, this goal isn't like a massive like breakdown from the Avs. I think they're giving the Flyers, this was something I thought when they were with the empty net, I think they were giving them a bit too much space. They were cramping a little bit too much. And with this team's luck, that just is asking for problems. And it almost did at one point when, I think it was was it Hayes connecting? I don't remember. Someone sent a pass into the middle of the ice, and it went off Kale's skate and was going into the net, but Frankie made a great pad save on it to keep it out, because that would have tied the game. So thank God for that. So yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that, but anyways, they let it get too much space. Konechny ripped a shot. JVR tipped it. I don't really like. I don't love this goal from Frankie. I'm looking at it right now. And like I just don't. It doesn't feel like a goal that like I don't know. I think Frankie played really well in the third period. He made some really nice saves. He was a bit shaky in the game, but that's kind of just Frankie's style. I mean, now that I'm looking at it, I'm not as mad about it. I think he played well again today. He just, there's games where he's just a little shaky. But he didn't give up the third goal, and neither of those goals are really like, oh my God, those are awful. Those are nice plays by the Flyers, hardworking, can't save them all sometimes. So whatever. Then things kind of got a little bit sketchy for the Avs. But for the most part, I think they did a good job keeping things out and clearing. And, they really were a little bit better at that point. There was one play where I was like, what are you doing, when it was like 10 seconds left and Compher gathered the puck in his own zone, had no pressure on him, and decided to send it for the goal. And I was like, why are you doing that? Like, because he had he had Makar and Taves back, or EJ and Taves. He could have passed it to one of them. He could have taken it behind his net even for a little bit to kill off a little bit of time. But instead he iced it. And then the Flyers got 2 more offensive zone faceoffs. But the Avs won. So there you go. That's the game. So yeah, let me, I want to talk about a few things. I think that third line continues to be very good. The line of Foodie, Myers, and Hudon. Hudon really needs to stop shooting at goaltenders' chests. I don't know if in the AHL goalies come with a hole in their chest, but that don't work here because he keeps making these such nice moves, and then he just shoots at their chest or he misses the net, and I'm like, I can't score goals that way, my guy. Like, that. You've played in the NHL. I think Myers is continuing to live up to expectations. I think he's, I think offensively, I think he, he has a little bit more to give, but everybody's big problem with him when the season started was defense. And I think that's really come around in this most recent call up. I noticed him reading plays a little bit better. I noticed him being a little bit smarter with the puck. So that's definitely encouraging. And then Foodie just can't seem to get his first point, but he's got a lot of speed. He made a really nice move that was akin to Kadri's from Game 4 against Tampa, where he, cuts in outside to inside under the guy's stick. Just put a bit too much mustard on it. He's good at cutting to the middle. He needs to learn how to create a little bit more offense from the outside. I feel like this is the thing that everybody says, is that needs to get to better scoring opportunities. And I agree, but I also feel like sometimes that space isn't there. I don't know. This is his biggest knock, probably, is his shot. His shot needs to be improved. So that's something for him to work on in the offseason, and when he likely gets sent down again. I'm not entirely sure. But that line continues to be good. I would like to see all 3 of those guys stick. One other thing, why aren't they playing Dryden Hunt? I don't understand it. He's been more than passable for you. Like, I understand he's not contributing, massive offensive numbers, but he's been good defensively. He's been checking hard, and he played less than Jacob McDonald tonight. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. I think it's just like, what's the point? You have an NHL caliber player on your lineup when you're strapped for injuries. Like, there's, it's a little bit better because they're playing all these other guys, some solid minutes, but I would like to see Dryden Hunt play more, at least on the penalty kill. Like, at least throw him out on the PK if you're going to play him like 5 minutes. I just don't understand what the issue was with him, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that changes. Going forward, I thought the first line was pretty good. Valenchushkin is clearly shaking off that rust bit by bit. He had a few whiffed pucks that I was like, you good? Lehkonen looked great today. I'll talk about him in a minute. But and then I also really like Sam Girard. I'm going to talk about him because he's unfortunately not part of my 3 stars, but I thought he played really well. I think he's doing a good job defensively. I think he's doing a good job offensively, but he just needs to be able. He does the spin move and he cuts to the middle, and then he kind of tries to hold guys off, and it's like, Sammy, you're not big enough. You're just not. Like, just get around the dude and shoot it. Like, he just needs to figure out how to get better shots on net. I've liked his passing. I've liked, he's clearly feeling himself a little bit. He just needs to shoot the puck a little bit more. And sometimes he'll take backhand shots from there, and I'm like, dude, you're just not going to score those very often. He did actually against Minnesota. Who was it that he scored one of those little backhand goals against? It was Minnesota. It was. Yeah, I don't know. There's been actually some pretty negative talk about Sammy. I don't think he's been incredible, but I think he's been better than he was, a while ago. I think he's also coming back from injury. So he was. So I think, now he's kind of starting to find his stride. But now I'm going to get into the 3 stars. My one disappointing player, at one point it was going to be Eric Johnson because I thought he was doing really stupid stuff. But then he got the assist, and I think he really kind of picked it up as the game went on a little bit. I'm a little disappointed in Alex Newhook. I'm getting really tired of him scoring goals and then doing nothing, and then scoring 2 goals in the game and then doing nothing. He needs to find a way to be impactful in games where he's not scoring points. I don't know. He needs to shoot a little bit more. I think he just needs to be a little bit smarter. But I don't know. I didn't really think this was a bad game. I mean, the thing is disappointing, and nobody really disappointed me today. My 3 stars, though, I want to give an honorable mention to Valenchushkin. I thought he was a real force on both ends of the ice. I don't think he was pretty spectacular with the puck, but he was passable, and he made a really nice back check in the first period. He was forechecking hard, breaking up passes. Great by him. I also want to give honorable mention to Mikko Rantanen. He had some really nice setups. I thought he was playing well again today. Maybe next, if I find a time to do an off-day podcast or something, I'll talk about my Mikko thoughts because I had a tweet about it last night, and it was a very impassioned tweet about how people view Mikko Rantanen as a player. And I feel like somehow he gets a bad rap. I don't understand. Not a bad rap, but a worse rap than he should. Whatever. So 3rd star. Oh, disappointing player. Actually, I'm going to go Englund. I thought he made some really dumb plays. So there you go. 3rd star. I want to give my 3rd star. I'm going to give it to Frankie because he made some really nice saves in the 3rd period to keep the Avs in it. Some very timely saves. He wasn't tested very much early on in the game, but he made some nice saves. Good outing from him. Should have ended up with a pretty solid save percentage. So, yeah, very, very good from him. I was a little disappointed at the moment, of the second goal, but now that I know it was tipped and it was a really nice tip, then I'm like, all right. And, he made that really nice save on that whack-ass Kale tip thing. So, 2nd star, I'm going to give to Compher. I didn't think he played bad. It's just, he forced Mikko to take that 1 penalty. It's not his fault, but, I'm not just going to completely ignore the whole, he's just not very good on the power play break-in zone entry thing. And then my 1st star is going to Arturri Lehkonen. This guy. We got a good stick, Lecky. It's been a while. I'm sure Blake yelled it super loud. I thought he was forechecking well. He was doing good on defense. really nice play and hustle on his first goal and a really nice pass on his second. So I just thought his overall impact was felt a little bit more than Compher's. Um, Not to discredit Compher, I just think that because Compher made some really nice plays. I just think that Lehkonen was a little bit more of an all around force. So I mean, that's kind of it. I kind of touched on everything. I hope you guys enjoyed the live podcasts. I'll It's about the same time as they're going to be for the home games. If you guys like them enough, then I'll do them for the away games because that does make it easier for me because it automatically just puts them on YouTube for me. I don't have to wait 30 minutes for it to. It's a long process, but hopefully you guys enjoyed. I will try and figure out if Blake wants to do a jersey collection thing sometime. Yeah, I mean, this is a fine game. It got a little bit shaky at the end, but I think the Avs controlled most of it. I have no real problems with this game. They're going to need to play a little bit better against Buffalo. Tighten up a little bit on defense. If they get if they have a slimish lead in the third, they're going to need to hold that a little bit better. Hopefully Evan Rodriguez comes back for that because getting some goals is going to be big against Buffalo, and Georgiev's really going to have to show out in that game because Buffalo's been so good offensively. The Avs are going to need to score on every chance they get, and Georgiev's going to really need to shut down Buffalo. So, yeah, I'll probably see you guys then. Thanks again, Steven. Thank you for hanging out with me. I greatly appreciate that you came and hung out for the first live stream. Put that in the history books. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you on Thursday. Have a good rest of your night and have a good Wednesday. Bye, everybody.